Are the Kraken underrated or are they overrated? It's difficult to know. Last year, they finished with 76 points. The odds makers don't give them a great shot this year. 78.5 points over under. And you look at something, I want to point you to a stat. Seattle Kraken had a negative 18 goal differential. The Ducks, who were ahead of them, had a negative 42. The Canucks had a negative 17. The Flames, who had 96 points, had a negative 13. So are the Seattle Kraken bad, or did they just have one bad goalie that sunk them?
Listen, I talked a lot about Grubauer. The greatest sin the Seattle Kraken continue to commit year in and year out isn't their backup goalie, although it's up there. It's that they continue to be one of the teams of all time. The Seattle Kraken,
They're a group of guys.
No team has ever been a team like the Seattle Kraken.
What are the Kraken supposed to be?
They're one of the teams.
Now, are you over or under 78.5 points? By the way, under is a 195, so better odds on under.
I'm going to go over, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not bad. They are not bad, right? And when I say they're one of the teams of all time, point at the roster and who's a bad player? Who's a player you don't like? I think they're deep. They got young guys who are probably going to get better. Shane Wright needs to really announce himself this year. Matty Beniers getting back to the hype would be great. Joey Decord obviously has to repeat what he did. But the top end talent's just not there.
Jesse, where do you have them? Over, under 78.5?
I have them over. I have them under, actually. I'm going to go under because I look at the roster, and last year I didn't think it was that great, and I was right about that, finishing 7th in the division. And then you look at the moves they made to augment the lineup and the additions they made the summer even before and how those didn't work out, like acquiring Montour and all of that. And then this July 1st, they go out and they do Lindgren and they do Matt Murray. And there's no real additions to kind of push them forward for me.
It must be, though, that Grubauer is not going to play on the team. They just didn't want to dry him.
They expect what they had last year just to perform better.
Okay.
So if I wasn't too high on them last year and they're coming back with a very similar roster, I don't think I can be high on them again, is how I'm looking at this team. So I'm going to say under.
I want to talk about the morale of showing up and playing in front of and skating your bag off and blocking shots for, just taking a, who's got the hardest shot in the league right now? Chara retired. Mm-hmm. You're stepping in front of vulcanized rubber and your skin hurts and your muscles hurt and your bones hurt for a .875 goalie.
Well, that's why I think Lindgren and Matt Murray are going to make sure Grubauer doesn't make the roster.
They
didn't buy him out, which means they would rather just not have that cap penalty.
8-17-1 with an .875. To me, he's
Lindgren doesn't play goal though, right?
Sorry. Yeah,
Ryan Lindgren.
Ryan Lindgren, the New York Rangers defenseman. Yes.
I thought you were talking about his defensive contribution to the roster.
No, that's just me being dumb. Hi.
He's one of the biggest wild cards in the league because you have an exceptional starter and a non-option.
Well, Matt Murray could be an option though.
Oh boy. I mean, the bar is so low.
That's what I'm saying. How do you not improve on that?
And
Matt Murray's got a real opportunity here to go, hey man,
get back in the
Is
NHL.
Matt Murray even 30? If he is, he's just barely.
Yeah,
This is a 2-time Stanley
31.
Cup winner. 31. He's 2-time Stanley Cup winner.
Joey Decord gave them 27 wins in 57 games, 27, 23, and 5. Mm-hmm. A .906 save percentage, which I know dropped over the course of the year. That's part of the reason they plummeted too, is they sort of came and went as he did. So they are still a flawed team, but they got 8 wins from Grubauer. They got 17 points in the standings from Grubauer, and they got a grand total of no points from any other goalie. And they had 3 other guys play games.
Yeah.
Alice Stezka, Nicholas Koko, Victor Ostman. Jesus, you need more points from guys who aren't Joey Daccord.
I have a question for the Kraken, and it's not the players, it's the management, and it's specifically Ron Francis. After they did their thing at the expansion draft, I thought they hadn't done a great job. I thought they set their prices too high in order for protection, so they weren't able to get many of those protection orders done the way Vegas could, right? Where you fire off a draft pick in order, hey, please don't select this player, right?
Right.
They didn't get enough character, I think, and they signed ridiculous deals. I'm looking specifically at the Jamie Alexiak deal, which mercifully expires this year. And not that he's a bad player, and at $4.6 million in a rising cap, it's not so bad.
I mean,
But
yeah.
But my real question for Ron Francis is, how many more head coaches do you get?
Because I was about to say, I don't think they have a bad contract on the roster just because of how high the numbers are.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the coaches. Dave Hackstall was there. He had a bad time in Philly. He came to Toronto, and that was a bad season, but it wasn't his fault. And then he went to Seattle, and in season 2, they got to the second round, which was great, and then fell off a cliff. The Dan Bylsma experiment in Seattle was bad. And, Dan Bylsma was, he coached Sidney Crosby. Like, he's nuts. But this guy, it was very clear.
Crosby's played for a couple
guys.
Cats.
It was very clear that the game was no longer where Dan Bylsma was, if that makes any sense.
Not at the NHL level.
And the things that I heard from Seattle were similar to what we heard about Greg Cronin in Anaheim. Just a guy out of touch with where today's player is. Lane Lambert, who I completely misunderstood before he came to Toronto, came in, did an incredible job with the PK, an incredible job with defensive systems in Toronto. We will miss him. However, Lane Lambert as a head coach,
yes,
after Barry Trotz, who is also defensively minded in New York, did not do well.
Lane Lambert is, I'm one of his biggest defenders, one of his biggest proponents, but being an assistant coach is very different from being a head coach. His career assistant coach resume is nuts. So good. The goals against is always good. The PK is always so good. Their success in the playoffs is generally very good. As a head coach, I don't know. But if he's the kind of head coach that he was as an assistant coach, like if he gets the Kraken to play the style that I know he wants to, they're kind of a match made in heaven.
I think they made an upgrade here.
Without question.
Bylsma to Lambert is an upgrade, and we're going to see them play a better style of hockey this season.
Yeah.
And Adam, you asked about how many coaches Ron Francis gets. The answer is 2, because he's not the GM anymore. They brought in Jason Botterill, and they promoted Ron Francis to president.
Right, and that's my point, is that I don't know how he's going to be. I don't even know how he survives as president if this season doesn't go well. I can't see it.
I think getting a promotion, was it 4 months ago, guarantires that he's probably going to be the
I feel like he was kicked upstairs, but
I love the term kicked upstairs. Kick me upstairs. Can I have millions of dollars? Kick me upstairs.
Okay.
So.
Now, up front and on defense, there's talent. Vince Dunn was a great get. Brandon Montour was the belle of the ball on free agency day a couple of years ago. There's some scoring there. There's some size there with Larson and Alexiak. Ryan Lindgren's looking for a bounce back. 4-year deal, but I still feel like that's pretty good for a 27-year-old at $4.5 million.
I don't think he's nearly as bad as he was as a Ranger.
If the season goes sideways, though, guys like Jaden Schwartz and Jordan Eberle, also Mason Marchment, who's brand new, and Eli Tolvanen are all UFAs. So there's guys that they can move, but they're also good.
Yeah, your future, though, is Shane Wright and Matty Beniers, and that's who's got to do it for you. And Jared McCann had a bit of an off year, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Matty Beniers kind of, 43 points in 82 games.
Yeah.
Not great.
Not great.
Not for the 7-point whatever
right.
he's making.
What do we need? What do we need? If you're Seattle, what's a success? What does this look like to you?
I mean, successful's got to be making the playoffs.
So you think that's got to be the goal?
Their organizational goal, in my eyes, and I think how they look at it, is to make the playoffs. Like they're looking at themselves as, we need to get back to the playoffs, and last year was a complete disappointment, and we won't be that again. And I think there's an ethos there to win now. They're not trying to be shitty.
I don't know if they're bad enough to be shitty.
Right.
They're
I mean,
they're in a bit of a no man's land.
They were shitty last year. Same roster. Mason Marchment, listen, I think he's great, but I don't know that he's going to be. Does he pull them away from? How much does he pull them out of 76 points?
I think he makes them a little more interesting, for God's sake.
Well, he has a personality.
Yeah, he's got a personality. He's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
He's going to be an asshole to the other team. Mm-hmm. I'll be curious to know how his teammates like that he drags them into the fight.
Okay.
And if you're wondering about how they view it, Jason Botterill said when he was named general manager that we have to become a perennial playoff team first and then find our way. To me, it's going to come from two fronts. The young players pushing into our organization want to be part of things. And then he goes on to talk about the team. But they view themselves as we need to get to the playoffs. And I think they're trying to do that. But I think this season they'll fall short. And Adam, I assume you're going to ask. I have them at 7th in the division.
I also have them in 7th. Remembering, too, that Jason Botterill's last job as a GM was of the Buffalo Sabres. Yes, Steve?
Buffalo Sabres are an asterisk because everyone who goes there has a bad time. So
they don't count.
Do they suck or does the organization suck? I'm going to put them 6th because for some reason I'm higher on them than most people, and the Grubauer factor. I mean, there's no situation where he's that bad again because either he gets better or
he doesn't get
the
the
more
ice time.
likely one is they go, enough of this bullshit, and they find a way to get rid of him.
Okay. All right. So where do you have them?
6th.
Okay, I have them in 7th, and Jesse has them in 7th. Your Seattle Kraken outlook. I bet there's a bunch of people in Seattle going, we'll show you.